The Canadian police have now gone in and broken up the trucker protest / blockade. Let me go ahead and show you this article here. This is in Forbes. The demonstration is over, Interim Ottawa Police Chief Steve Bell said in a press briefing Saturday afternoon, adding that police have told protesters to leave and that they would escalate and forcibly remove holdouts. Ottawa police said they had made 170 arrests since Friday and towed away 53 of the vehicles that protesters of the government's anti-COVID measures had used to block down streets, as well as issued 3,600 tickets. Among those arrested were 3 leaders of the protest, Pat King, Chris Barber, and Tamara Litch. News agency The Canadian Press reported protesters shouted shame and freedom as they pushed back at police officers who pushed the crowd back, wielding batons. Police used pepper spray on the crowd, while CBC showed protesters pouring water and rubbing snow on their eyes to clear their vision. Ottawa police tweeted Saturday morning they had arrested a protester who allegedly launched a gas canister and said they had arrested others who were in body armor and had smoke grenades on them and miscellaneous fireworks in their bags. Okay. So I'm going to give you some more information on it, but first I want to show you what the Canadian police are saying, because this moment went viral for good reason. Take a look.
I'm from independent media. So I was in the crowd yesterday. I was unfortunately hit with some pepper spray. I just have a question. There's some video cameras that the police are using and some news outlets are reporting that you're gathering intelligence with those cameras. Can you elaborate, like, if the protesters at this point retreat and go home, are they going to be getting sort of repercussions down the road? Or are you going to be sort of actively pursuing the people that you've been sort of documenting and filming who are still out there protesting? What are your plans after this, after the protest is over?
Thank you. It's a great question. And the simple answer is yes. If you are involved in this protest, we will actively look to identify you and follow up with financial sanctions and criminal charges. Absolutely. This investigation will go on for months to come. It has many, many different streams, both from a federal financial level, from a provincial licensing level, from a criminal code level, from a municipal breach of court order, breach of court injunction level. It will be a complicated and time-consuming investigation that will go on for a period of time. You have my commitment that that investigation will continue and we will hold people accountable for taking our streets over.
So there you have it. Now, they are saying that the Ottawa mayor is saying he wants the authority to sell the vehicles that were seized from protesters and use the proceeds to cover the costs that were incurred. So just basically civil asset forfeiture, legalized robbery by cop to sell it and then use the money to fund how much it costs to break up the blockade and the protest. I mean, what you just heard too with that press conference was, yeah, we're going to go after everybody who was involved in this. We've talked about this before, guys, in regards to BLM. And the takeaway we had when it was BLM was mostly peaceful. Most of the people involved didn't hurt a fly. They were just marching, holding signs, doing legal stuff. Now, if there are people who actually committed crimes, whether it's in BLM protests or this protest, well, that's fine. You can't have people burning down buildings, for example. You can't have people breaking windows and stealing stuff from shops that are not connected at all to some sort of injustice. So were there actual crimes committed? Of course, prosecute, go after them. That makes sense. Nobody would argue against that. I mean, maybe some people would, but they're being silly if they argue against that. By the same token, if anybody in these protests were committing crimes, genuine crimes, okay, well, prosecute them, go after them, totally fine with that. But they're talking more broadly than that. They're talking about, no, we're going to try to go after everybody who was involved in this protest. I don't like that at all. And that, again, that sets a horrible precedent. And to seize their property and sell it, that's just legalized stealing. Keep it real. That's legalized robbery. And I don't like that at all either. Now, there was another story that went kind of viral. There was some fake news around it as well. Right-wing Twitter was claiming that a police officer on a horse trampled somebody to death. It turns out the person did not die. but the police did trample somebody with a horse. Now, there's conflicting reports. Some of them say, well, the horse just, sort of did it out of the blue. And others say, no, the person jumped in front of the horse. Either way, I don't like it when police trample people who are protesting with a horse. And that shouldn't be a controversial thing to say. If it is a controversial thing to say to you, you need to reevaluate yourself, okay? So, is this it? I don't know. Maybe it is it. Maybe the entire protest was broken up. Now, you guys know my take on this protest from the beginning. The main thing that they were fighting for is we don't want any more COVID vaccine mandates. My position on the vaccine mandate, I'm not in favor of a hard mandate. I'm in favor of a vaccinate or test policy, which gives people the choice. If they're really dedicated to not getting the vaccine, okay, just take a test and it's fine. So I didn't really agree with the policy of the Canadian government anyway, the hard vaccine policy. But really my overwhelming feeling that I got while watching this unfold was jealousy, because here you have a protest that's really a right-leaning protest, and they're way more organized and orderly and disciplined than any left-wing movement I've ever seen in my life. And that tells me they had a much higher, likelihood of success. And my understanding is, Crystal and I talked about this on the last Crystal, Kyle and Friends. There were some provinces in Canada that did, make some concessions to the truckers. I don't know the specifics. I don't know if they dropped the vaccine passport or whatever in certain places. Doesn't matter. I think it was a much more organized protest and blockade than anything I've seen the left do. And so I was kind of jealous because in the U.S., I want something like this to happen, but I want it to happen for universal health care and right to a union and $15 minimum wage and, paid vacation time and things like that. So, but this might be it for this protest. They may have snuffed it out using authoritarian tactics. And make no mistake about it, it is authoritarian tactics. And the precedent that's laid is now the government will do anything and everything to undermine threats to capitalism. Because that's the real reason why they were so hard on these protesters and went against them so aggressively, is because the protesters were causing about $500 million worth of damages to the economy every day. So the blockade was kind of working. It was hard to do trade between the U.S. and Canada, and I think they're our number one trading partner. And so that's why they snuffed it out, because really, once you start impacting the economy in a very clear and measurable way, oh boy, do they get dirty. They get dirty quick. Now, again, I get it. Anything that the protesters were doing or any part of the blockade that was like clearly illegal in a way that's unacceptable, like you're blocking medicine from coming, whatever, something like that. I get taking action against that, but this wasn't measured. To steal the old phrase from Obama, they used a hatchet when they should have been using a scalpel. And so now the precedent that's set is, look, if you want to protest for anything, no matter what it is, if you're protesting for universal health care, right to a union, or anything, if it's good stuff, if it's police reform, whatever it is, they will freeze the money that you're raising on GoFundMe or whatever site, whatever crowdfunding site that you're using. They will freeze your bank accounts. They will use technology to track you down and charge you with a crime, even if you didn't commit a crime, even if you were just part of the peaceful side of the peaceful protest. And I don't know how anybody could cheer this on, and I don't know how anybody could be happy about it. You could have nuanced feelings. You could have complex feelings about it. Like I told you guys, I do. I mean, the Teamsters Union, which is the number one trucker union in Canada, was against this protest. And 90% of truckers are vaccinated. So this wasn't like a genuine working class uprising that's representing, majority held positions. It is just not that. It's a fact to say it's not that. So that fact needs to be known too. But in terms of the authoritarian tactics that were used to snuff this out, you should oppose them at the top of your lungs, because what's used against them is going to be used against the left times 10. And we've already seen stuff like this used against the left, but now they're going to ramp it up. And, you get the sense that they're so much more organized than I ever gave them credit for. Having this ability ready to go, the ability freeze the GoFundMe stuff, freeze their personal bank accounts, go in there and bust it up in just a couple days is like not a good sign, man. Not a good sign at all. So there you have it. Looks like the trucker protest, trucker blockade, which by the way is mostly made up of not truckers, was busted up in Canada. And whatever you think of this specific protest, the precedent that was laid here is a horrendous one. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.